What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about what to say when a guy asks you for your number if you want to get taken seriously and you're serious about getting to know guys and not just having casual flings. But before I start, this video is sponsored by Let's Get Checked. Listen, a lot of people don't know their statuses and they're jumping in bed with everybody. You might be one of them. Having conversations about your sexual health isn't exactly popular. It's not going to get you in the mood, it's not going to make things hotter, but it's definitely necessary. Too many people are walking around with a don't ask, don't tell, and don't know sexual health policy, and then they're jumping in bed with other people. I'm not trying to lord or guard your sexuality, but you should probably be doing that. And it should probably be more intentional and strategic than just guessing, hoping, praying, and crossing your fingers you haven't caught anything out here while dealing with men who don't know where they've been themselves. Let's Get Checked lets you check everything from your kidney health to your cholesterol to your sexual health status. And it sends those tests right to your house. Those tests are looked over by doctors, nurses, and professionals that give you your results and give you the next steps once your results arrive. Sometimes a prescription can even be given over the phone. Whatever portion of your health you've been ignoring, you could probably get checked on Let's Get Checked. It's important to know your status and the status of your partner, but also the status of your general health. Please stop ignoring it. Coupon code KF20 gets you 20% off of any test you order on Let's Get Checked, especially the sexual health test kits. So if it's too awkward to go to the doctor, just bring the doctor to you with Let's Get Checked. The link is in the description. Now onto this topic. One of my channel members, first of all, thank you by the way, but one of my channel members recently asked me to do more videos about the specific rebuttals and responses that women can give to very, very common occurrences, very, very common interactions that they have with men. So I thought that this would be really helpful for you that are tired of wasting your time and tired of going through talking phases that don't even get out of the text messaging zone. So without further ado, when a man asks you for your number, and you want to be taken seriously, and you don't want to waste your time trading emojis and pleasantries for a while and growing in anticipation, but never really growing in familiarity or getting to know that person. You have to build a wall around text messaging. You have to stop trying to use it as a medium to communicate with strangers because you cannot get more familiar with that. So when a guy asks you for your number, you tell him yes, but under one condition. Generally, the question or the response is going to be, well, what's that? Your response then needs to be, you don't text me. The one condition is you do not text me. Either call me or leave me alone, but don't text me. It's a waste of time. It lacks intention. Plus you can't get to know people through emojis. So if you text me, I will respectfully ignore it. But I just wanted you to know why. Is that a problem? That's what you tell them. You tell them just like that. You use my number to call me. Don't use it to text me. I'm not going to text with you, and I'm not going to text you back if you decide to ignore that standard I've set for my communications with new people. You can also tell them now, if we get to know each other, then we can text. Only after we know each other and we've set an intention. But until then, calls only. And if you don't want to do that, I completely understand. No harm, no foul. You set this barrier immediately, right? And you do this for a few reasons. One of which is you want to make your dating experience efficient and you do not want to waste time thinking about or daydreaming about a person who's just poking and prodding at you and flirting with you through text messages. That leads to a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions getting stirred up, a lot of triggering that doesn't actually lead anywhere because there's no real effort given in text message. A person cannot pursue you through text message. A person can poke at you. A person cannot grow and evolve their relationship or develop levels of intimacy with you through text message. But you can daydream about them. You can imagine that happening. You can hope that those conversations get deeper. You can read the book that they give you if they text a lot. The character that they assume in text messages, their texting and their writing voice might be a lot different from their real voice. You have to assume their tone and intention with every word you read. It's a waste of time and it puts you in a fantasy land. Don't do it, but tell them that up front. Tell them specifically, do not text me, only calls. If you're not willing to do that, I understand, no harm, no foul, move on. First thing it does is save you time and make your dating life more efficient. The second thing it does is establish whether or not a man is, first of all, truly interested, genuinely interested in at least respecting the standards that you put in front of him. This isn't about making him jump through hoops, and most real men understand that. For those of you who think a real man ain't gonna let you just make no standards up from the very beginning. A real man, an alpha man ain't gonna do this or that. Listen, most real men, most real alpha men understand that everyone has standards because they themselves have standards. So as long as you respect the standards that he communicates and you're not talking down to him as you describe your own standards and put your own foot down, you won't have a problem with the man of respect because he wants a woman of respect who first of all respects herself well enough to defend herself, to speak up for herself, to know what she wants. But this isn't about establishing that. This isn't about his respect. This is about the protection of you and your mind and your thought life. And also making sure that you're dealing with a person who will respect your standards and who has an intention to truly get to know you and not just poke at you until you give him some. In a partnership, a man has to respect your boundaries and respect your standards. He has to want to meet you halfway and give you what's necessary for you to feel secure and safe and comfortable in a relationship, as you should him. If you meet a man who's not willing to meet you at that first standard, when you say, hey, listen, I would prefer you call me, do not text me. I'm not going to pick up the phone and text you back. I only answer the phone calls from strangers because I don't know you. I don't know what your voice is. I don't know what your tone is. I don't know what your inflections are. I don't get any of the nonverbal cues. It's just a waste of time. If a guy's like, oh, that's too much, I'm going to text her anyway, then he doesn't respect your standards. He won't respect your standards, and you'll be getting disrespected in that way or disregarded that way for the entirety of the relationship. A man never wants to impress a woman as much as the first day he meets her. That's because there's an urge to make that woman feel safe, so she comes forward a little bit, so she trusts him a little bit. When establishing trust, a man is on his best behavior. If you can't get him to behave now, he'll never respect your standards, even in a relationship. So what's the point? If a man's not willing to have a conversation with you or invest non-sexual time, again, what's the point if you're looking for love? The only reason a man would have a problem with this is if he's not serious, he's looking for something casual, or he was just trying to poke and prod his way to some sex without any effort and without any familiarity and intensity of emotion built. A man who's casual, who really doesn't respect relationships or look forward to relationships, texts exclusively almost because he doesn't want expectation built. He doesn't want real intimacy built. He just wants sex. A refusal to do this one thing that you asked him when you give him your number, on the condition that he do this one thing, tells you everything you need to know about what he wants from the relationship. There's no good reason a man who actually wants to get to know you is going to be upset or be irritated or be off-put at this standard. The plan is to get to know you. The plan is to get familiar, or at least seeing if there's some possibility there. Seeing if you're as beautiful on the inside as you are on the outside. There's no reason to avoid phone calls. I don't want to hear about this social anxiety shit. I'm tired of hearing that garbage because all of y'all jumping in bed. If more of y'all had dick anxiety, we'd be a lot less messed up out here. So while the primary intention isn't necessarily to test him, it would be foolish not to observe his intention to respect your voice at this time. A man should at least honor and value and respect your requests at the very beginning if he sees you as a potential partner. If he's looking for partnership and not just sex. Too often women feel ignored. They ask me, how can I get this guy to respect me? He used to be nicer. Now he treats me like this or that, or now he doesn't respect me. Now he talks down to me. First of all, he probably never respected you. But second of all, you never required it because you were too afraid to establish a standard of anything. You thought it was too early to establish a standard or a preference of how he dealt with you. Now you're dealing with a man who never intended to deal with you from a place of respect anyway. You're hoping to turn him around, but you cannot because you did not establish an intention to respect in him. And this does that. When a man says, okay, I won't text you. I can do that. I got standards of my own, but we'll talk about those later. And then he actually follows through and does what you asked him to do. He's at least showing you that he's willing to meet you halfway. That he's not playing power games or leverage games. Again, there's no good reason for a guy to refuse this request unless he just doesn't really actually want to get familiar with you or get to know you. He was just trying to poke at you, prod at you, and flirt with you until he got some. Or he doesn't believe in relationships, so he was never really going to go that far anyway. He just wanted to vibe out and find a cuddle buddy. Both of those are casual, so who cares if he walks away? Who cares if he's offended by you saying, hey, listen, you can have my number, but under one condition? Who gives a damn if he's like, I don't know, that's too much work. He was going to play with you anyway. And as long as you're not talking down to a real man and you say it with grace and femininity, he's not going to have a problem with it either because he's going to understand. Because his intention is to get to know you, not to have power over you, not to dominate you, not to control you. Most men of respect want a woman of respect, a woman of empowerment. Most men want to empower their women when they themselves are honorable people. What can a weak, mushy-minded woman do for a real man? About the same as a weak, mushy-minded man does for a woman. Not much. Sex. Tell him it's a non-negotiable. He seems like a cool guy. You like to talk to him. You're looking forward to it if he does call, but it would have to be a call. A lot of times people ask me, well, why do I have to be cute and flirty when I say this or when I say that or when I establish a standard? You don't. You just need to be feminine and you need to be gentle. But a lot of people are conflict avoidant. And so they can't see themselves standing up or putting their foot down or defending themselves or asserting themselves in any way that feels like conflict. So I always say, and if you need to be funny, if you need to be cute, if you need to be flirty when you say it, as long as you're serious and you reiterate what you mean, you're fine. But I only say that for people who are conflict avoidant and who are afraid of the awkward interaction of somebody rejecting whatever standard that they have in place. Some of you aren't conflict avoidant, so you don't have to necessarily be cute or flirty. You just have to be feminine. You just have to be non-abrasive when you say it. So say it gently, whoever you are. But for those of you who need to strategically put it into conversation or strategically and tactfully enough express that standard because you're conflict avoidant, it's okay to be flirty and to be cute and say it. But just say, no, I'm serious after you get whatever joke or cutesy shit you have to get in there to make your point known. Now the key is here to stand on your word. Do not respond to any text messages. You've already told him why. Too often, some of you try to apply a standard you might get from my video or someone else's video, but you don't stand on it. You tell them, I'm not going to have sex with you because I need to feel this way or that way about a guy. And then 2 days later, you're under sweating, right? When you don't respect your own standards, men stop respecting you. Unfortunately enough, most of you do this with the men who already don't respect you, so it doesn't help you any. Most men are trying to respect your standards if they really want to get to know you, but you have to show that you're serious about your own standards. I can't care about it more than you care about it as a guy trying to date you. So when you put your foot down, keep it down. Stand on your word, stand on your principle, and stop making decisions based off of how you feel about a guy. Stand on your principles until you're in a full-blown relationship. And then keep your principles because that's what's gotten you there. Any man who's looking for a healthy relationship with a woman that he plans on respecting, a woman whose voice he plans on hearing and heeding, isn't going to have a problem with you saying, this is what I require for my time, because he's immediately going to be able to identify with your refusal to play games. And that will intrigue him if he's not playing games as well. It can overwhelm and put pressure on a man who doesn't know what he wants. But you don't want an aimless man talking to you, wasting your time texting with you anyway. So just trust me on this. You might get a lot less guys who get your number and actually do something with it, but you'll have a lot less men clouding your judgment and a lot less men wasting your time, which makes your dating experience a lot more efficient. Anyway, I hope this helps. Follow me at KFIC24 on Instagram. Don't forget to go to our sponsor in the link below to get your sexual health test kit or your general health test kit or your men's or women's health test kit for those of you who know people who don't go to the doctor. Coupon code KFIC gets you 20% off and everybody loves a discount. That's all I got for now. I'll get with y'all later.